Live from John Ryan Stadium, it's in Metairie. It is Crescent City Sports Prep Baseball. As this afternoon, it's a District 9 5A matchup as the visiting Holy Cross Tigers take on the Jesuit Blue Jays. Hi again, everybody. Lenny Van Gilder along with Danny Ream, Chip and Matt Merritt here to bring you all of the imagery of this afternoon's game. This should be a good one here in the Catholic League in what has been a very close race in the Catholic League this year. Danny, we take a look at the District 9 5A standings just to show you. Jesuit in the lead, but Holy Cross winning the opening game of this series 3-2 helped bring this race a little bit tighter, and now you've got 5 teams within 2 losses of each other with just 3 games remaining. And I don't remember a race in this league, which has always been ultra competitive, where this many teams still had a shot to win coming into the final week of the season.
Yeah, and it's great for baseball in the league, Lenny. Just for all these teams to have a shot this late, it's really keeping them focused. You know, all their goals are right in front of every single one of those clubs, and as you know, everybody's in the playoffs, so it's really about getting hot at the right time, and what a better way than to be in the district race all the way to the end.
Well, and look, this is, we talk about it during football season, some of the other sports. This is probably the one district that's still out there where the district championship means so much. There's so much tradition in this league where it really means a lot to be district champion.
Well, it is. It's a special thing to all of these teams to become the Catholic League champion. It doesn't matter the sport. To be the Catholic League champion really means a whole lot. And, you know, with the changes in the state playoffs, you know, unfortunately, it's different than it used to be with the select and non-select. So being able to win this league is one of the bigger deals, you know, in your season. So, you know, this is a coveted championship that all these teams are fighting for late in the year.
The Holy Cross lineup being introduced as we speak. But one of the other things that you're playing for here down the stretch are power points, because in the format as it is right now, you're right, everyone gets in, but those top 4 getting buys, while you've got a week to recover, still one less round that you've got to deal with, and maybe only to have to win 1 best-of-3 series to be able to get the Sulphur could be a big advantage. And Jesuit is right there on the edge right now of possibly landing in that top 4.
Yeah, you know, it's... Yeah, I've kind of got mixed feelings, to be honest, on whether or not you want that bye. Obviously, it's great to only have to win 1 series, but it just gives you such a long layoff late in the year. It's a lot of time in between your last regular season game and that second playoff series if you get one of those byes. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it's something you want to get if you can, just to get yourself 1 step closer to Sulphur. But baseball is a game where you really want to be playing a lot. You want to play every day, and unfortunately, with that gap being as big as it is, you could see a team go cold.
Well, and the other thing is you play that quarterfinal series at home. We'll revisit this later in the broadcast, but you see the power ratings as they stand heading into today, unofficial and in Division 1, and you're looking at Catholic, Brother Martin, St. Paul's, Evangel, then Jesuit in that 5 spot right now, Holy Cross in the 8 spot. Both of those teams would have home series in the opening round, but then would have to travel for the quarterfinals. So it's, you know, we remember a year ago, it was a great Jesuit St. Paul series up in Covington. Obviously, that is a series, you know, if you're Jesuit or if you're any other team for that matter, you want to be playing that quarterfinal series in your home ballpark with a chance to advance to Sulphur for the semifinals.
Absolutely. Anytime you can play at home in a park that you're very comfortable in, it's always a big advantage in the playoffs. And so this is a big game for multiple reasons. A district title for Jesuit possibly, and one of those top 4 seeds.
The color guard making its way out onto the field, and the playing of our Star Spangled Banner here from John Ryan Stadium. Our national anthem from John Ryan Stadium on a nice Saturday afternoon for baseball, Danny. And as you saw the color guard out there, one of the things that if you're not in New Orleans right now and watching us from other points around the country, that will be a factor in this afternoon's game, and that is going to be the wind. You saw the flags really blowing there. Our game time weather conditions, partly cloudy, 84 degrees with a feels like of 89. But again, the important thing is the wind. The winds are at south-southeast, so it'll be blowing across from the right field foul pole to the left field foul pole. South-southeast winds 24, gusting to 38. That's going to play a factor here. This is a ballpark that plays very big. 320 down the lines, or down the right, left field line, 325 down the right field line, about 375 in the gaps, 400 to straightaway center, but a ballpark that's going to play big. More on that in a minute, but let's take a look at the starting lineup, batting order. For the Holy Cross Tigers, it's Gavin Schultz at shortstop, batting first. Brian Broussard, the center fielder, bats second. Nico Salter-Formaggio, the pitcher, bats third. John Dale Wooten is the first baseman, hitting cleanup. Adrian Aguilar is the second baseman, batting fifth. Cade Simpson in right field, batting sixth. Davis Stevens, the designated hitter, will hit seventh. Chandler Welch at third base, bats eighth. Luke Sandomal is the catcher, batting ninth. And Todd Canatella, the left fielder, will not bat. And they will face the right-handed offerings of a very good one in Will Helmers, the junior, who has got some extraordinary numbers, Danny. 6-1 on the season, 5 shutouts, and an 0.43 earned run average.
Yeah, this Jesuit team's led by their pitching staff, and that's kind of what I expected to see this year. If you look back at last summer with Retief Oil, they had a really good summer. That Goche Amade team, coached by Marty Luquette out of Ascension Parish, was loaded last summer, and this Jesuit team went toe-to-toe with them, and it was because of the arms that they could run out on the mound. So I fully expected to see this pitching staff perform the way that they have for Kenny Goodler.
Number 2, playing shortstop,
And it's
Gavin Schultz.
a staff with a 0.99 ERA as a team. That's some extraordinary numbers. So here we go. Just a couple of minutes after the scheduled 3:30 start. First pitch swinging. Grant Schultz down the third base line. Throw across the diamond, will be up the line. Not in time. That will go as a base hit. And Schultz coming out first pitch swinging against Helmers, who's a guy who's going to pound the zone. 13 walks in 49 innings, 78 strikeouts. I guess that's a good approach when you get a guy who's going to attack the zone like that and going to really have an advantage when he gets ahead of the count.
Historically, Holy Cross clubs, they swing the bat. They get in there ready to go.
Brian Broussard, the center fielder, steps in, takes ball one. Broussard, on the season, leads this team with 4 home runs. He's got 15 RBIs, batting .250. Fouls that one back to the screen. It's 1-1. This is a Holy Cross team that's not afraid to put things in motion. They've got 59 stolen bases on the season. 3 guys in double figures. Schultz at first base has 12. Broussard with 11. And Cade Simpson, we'll see him later on in the batting order, leads this team with 13 stolen bases. The 1-1 just missed. It's ball 2. Here it comes. Fouled into the third base coaching box, and a kick save by head coach Trey Gilliott.
Trey's a good guy. Comes to the park with a ton of energy every day.
No doubt about it. In this role for 1 year as head coach. Well-publicized story right before the season. Andy Canizzaro will be the head coach in 2020 for the Tigers. That pitch misses up for ball 3. So on 3-2, let's see if the Tigers have something in motion here early on. Nothing doing, called strike 3.
Nice fastball, painted the outside corner, got the call from Shane
Pitcher, number
behind
1,
the plate. That's a big
Nico
outlet because you got that double play
Salter-Formaggio.
still in order as of now. Roll yourself a ground ball, you could be out of this.
And Nico Salter-Formaggio, the pitcher, plays third base on days he's not pitching, steps in, takes a breaking ball, just missed for ball 1. Salter-Formaggio at .278, 2 homers, he's driven in 12. Leads this team with 8 doubles, so definitely some gap power. Now in motion, strike on the swing and a miss, and no throw down to second base. It'll be stolen base number 13 on the season for Schultz.
Well, he got a big jump there, took that one on the pitcher. Not much that you could do there. He just got a great jump.
1 ball and 1 strike. Here it comes. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2. You can hear the wind coming through our crowd mic there. It is really blowing. We mentioned across foul pole to foul pole here. Flags out beyond center field are just basically stiff. Swung on, foul tipped. So Salter Formaggio stays alive at a ball and 2 strikes.
It's going to be extremely important today for these infielders to stay on the baseball. You need good pop-up communication always, but especially on a day like this.
You've played in the wind before, and I guess that's the big thing when you're trying to deal with balls in the air. And like we said, this is not going to suddenly turn John Ryan Stadium into a home run hitter's paradise by any means, but it's those pop-ups that are in play that could literally get blown about 50 feet from where you think they were going to land when you started. Swung on and missed at a breaking ball, and Salter Formaggio is down on strike. So after the leadoff infield single, Helmers has come back to get a pair of strikeouts, and now it'll be the first baseman, John Dale Wooten.
It's important.
I'm sorry.
Important to have the mentality with balls in the air that you're the only guy on the field, and you've got to go make the play.
Wooten on the season, 375. His first pitch swinging, ground ball to third. Throw across is up the line, and this will not allow the run to score. Is a nice recovery over there by the first baseman. Valagoski saves a run right there. That will go as an error on the third baseman, so they're at the corners with 2 out.
Looked like that one would end the inning. Usually a ball for a third baseman taking you hard to your forehand side. You got a lot of momentum into the throw, but that one got away from him.
Second baseman, number 6, Adrian Aguilar.
So Aguilar steps in with runners at the corners and 2 outs. Adrian on the year, 246, no homers, but he leads this team in RBIs with 20. So he's been a guy who has delivered with runners in scoring position. Takes that outside corner for a strike. It's 0-1. Throw to first, not in time. Wooten on the season has 2 stolen bases. On the ground, 2 hops, second baseman to first in time. So a threat for the Tigers, but nothing doing. No runs, a hit, an error. 2 runners left. And the Tigers will take the field for the first time. We'll get our first look at Nico Salter Formaggio, the junior right-hander. And he will face a Jesuit lineup. That is a team hitting 293 on the season. And here's that Blue Jay lineup against Salter Formaggio. It's Brian Valagoski, the first baseman, leading off. Seth Dardar at second base, batting second. Will Helmers, the pitcher, hits third. So we've got 2 pitchers hitting in the 3-hole this afternoon. Zach Casabon bats in the cleanup spot, playing right field. Parker Sirio is the catcher, batting 5th. Trip Haddad at third base hits 6th. Joe Guerra is the DH, batting 7th. Chris Favaloro is in left field, batting 8th. And Luke Eccles is in center field, batting 9th. Gannon Heyer, the shortstop, is not batting this afternoon. And again, they will face the right-handed offerings of Nico Salter Formaggio. 1-4 in the year, but a not-so-bad 3.55 ERA, Danny, and he's got 23 strikeouts in 23 2/3 innings. Has had some bad luck in terms of defense behind him as well, as he's given up 13 unearned runs on the season, making his 8th start of the year.
Yeah, he's a good arm for Holy Cross and a guy that they've leaned on this year, and he gives you very solid performances, so I'm sure we'll see that again here today. I'm sure he's pretty excited about this start.
Valagoski, batting from the left side, leads off, takes a strike on the inside corner.
Brian Valagoski.
Valigoski on the season, 264, no homers. He's driven in 8. Pops that one in the air, and the wind is going to easily take that one out of play, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. Always have to be strategic where you park here at John Ryan Stadium, Danny. I think I've got the right spot over towards the right field line, kind of my reserve spot from the old WHNO telecast days when we used to do that. That would always be the spot that I would try to grab early. And on a day like this, I'm not sure anything's getting over in that direction.
No, I think you're good. I was about to say that. I think you're especially good over there today.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Valigoski. To be followed by Dardar and Helmers here in the Jesuit first. No score if you're just joining us. The 2-2. On the ground, up the middle, backhanded play by the second baseman. Nice job there by Aguilar. Handled that pretty routinely, and there's one gone here in the first.
Well, that's the thing that Adrian does real well. He plays a great defense for you, and he's versatile. He's played all over the infield at some point in the year for Holy Cross. When you look at second base, shortstop, and third base, he can play all 3. He's going to Nicholls State next year to play for Coach Seth Thibodeau. So, he showed it right there. That's a heck of a play.
Seth Dardar steps in, the leading hitter on this Jesuit team, and an even 400, 24 hits and 60 at-bats. 1 homer, he's driven in 16, tied for second on the club in RBIs. Softly on the ground towards the shortstop. Has to hurry to throw to first. Nice play by the first baseman to dig it out of the turf there, and there's 2 gone.
Well, it was a great pick by Wooten. Shortstop kind of sat back on his heels. Schultz needed to come get that ball, needed to charge her a lot harder than he did. Probably made it a tougher play than it needed to be by not coming to get it.
So Will Helmers steps in. First pitch swinging in the air on the infield. Second baseman Aguilar handles it, and just like that, the Blue Jays are down in order in the bottom of the first inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, none left. 1 in the books here at John Ryan Stadium with your score. No score between Holy Cross and Jesuit. You are watching high school baseball from Crescent City Sports. Crescent City Sports Prep Baseball presented by Yale College Inn and Rock and Bowl. Rock and Bowl now with 2 locations on South Carrollton Avenue in New Orleans and Jefferson Street in downtown Lafayette. See a full schedule of entertainment at rockandbowl.com. Lenny Van Gilder, Danny Ream with you here on a partly cloudy and windy Saturday afternoon for baseball at John Ryan Stadium. No score, top of the second. It's Cade Simpson leading things off for Holy Cross here in the second. Simpson on the season at .235. He's got a homer. He's driven in 9. Takes that one down low from Will Helmers, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Simpson to be followed by Stevens and Welch here in the Tigers' second. Holy Cross threatened in the top of the first. Got a couple of men on. Catches the inside corner. It's 2 balls and 1 strike. I would imagine, you've seen a lot of games over the 7 years of this ballpark, or now 8 years of this ballpark, Danny. Yeah, it's a swing and miss 2-2. You got to feel pretty good as a pitcher going out here, knowing you've got a great surface, you've got a big outfield, and you can just go out there and pound the zone and try to throw strikes, as if on cue there. Helmers misses inside with a breaking ball and hits off of the front leg of Simpson for a hit batter.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a big ballpark that you want to pitch to contact in and let your defense make plays. keep them on their toes, keep them involved.
Another look at the hit batter right there. I think that breaking ball just got away from him. First pitch swinging and soft served into right field for a base hit. Simpson will round second and head for third. They will be at the corners with nobody out.
Good base running there by Simpson. Absolutely a ball off the bat that you've got to be thinking first to third, no hesitation. And Holy Cross set up well right here.
Davis Stevens, first pitch swinging again. Both Holy Cross hits have come on first pitches this afternoon. So at the corners with nobody out for Chandler Welch, the third baseman. Welch on the season says just 13 at-bats. Like we mentioned, it's normally Salter Formaggio who's playing third base, but he's pitching this afternoon, so Welch gets the start at third. Takes a breaking ball a little high. It is 1-0. Welch 4 out of 13, 308, no homers. He's driven in one. Runner was way off before the pitch. Helmers didn't see it. Could have stepped off right there and possibly gotten Stevens in a rundown. That will go as a stolen base, and that is clearly off the pitcher. It's a ball and a strike. Jesuit will keep the infield back right here. That is lined into left field, a base hit, and Holy Cross will strike first. Runner will be held up at third, so they'll be at the corners once again, and it's 1-0 Tigers.
Well, Holy Cross doing a nice job offensively this inning. They got the leadoff man on, which is always a good thing, especially at the high school level. Usually a lot of scoring comes when that leadoff man can reach, and that's the one run that's on the board right there so far. But once again, first and third, nobody out still.
So now the 9-hole hitter, the catcher, Luke Sandoval, will step in. Luke on the season, 222, no homers, but he's driven in 9. Strike, it's 0-1. For Helmers, that is only the 4th earned run he has allowed in 50 innings of work this season. Came in just allowing 3 earned runs, 5 runs total in 49 innings, covering 8 appearances. He's thrown 3 complete games. He's been either on his own or combined 5 strikeouts as Sandoval looks at called strike 3. That is strikeout number 3 for Helmers, and there's 1 down.
Well, that's a big out because the double play's in order, but you got to do a really good job of staying focused on this guy over at first base.
You do,
and keep him right there.
You got a guy at the plate in Schultz who can really run. So even on a ball hit on the ground right here, it's no guarantee that you can turn 2. Schultz, 1 for 1 and an infield single back in the first inning. First pitch swinging once again, lifted down the right field line. Got to watch the wind here. Second baseman with a diving catch, but the runner with a heads-up play to tag from third. He will score. A pop-up to the second baseman goes as a sacrifice fly there, and it is 2-0 Holy Cross.
Well, anything up in the air today is going to be an adventure with a 25-mile-an-hour wind gusting, as you mentioned, up into the mid to upper 30s. So anything's going to be an adventure. Good play there to get the out and good base running. The rule is less than 2 outs. 0-1 out, ball in the air, you're back to the base whenever you're running from third, and that's what they did there. And as soon as he touched it, you can score.
So Brian Broussard steps in, takes a strike on the outside corner. It's 0-1. So Holy Cross getting something with the bottom of the lineup here. 6, 7, and 8 all reaching. They get 2 of those guys in. Welch is now down at first base with 2 outs.
And that's one of those things, Lenny, that as a third base coach, you're constantly going over with those guys.
Drag bunt, that is fouled.
Constantly running through those different rules based on the situation. 0-1 out back to the base, and they did a good job, and that's why they were easily scoring that second run.
Yeah, very heads-up play right there, and knowing that you had a chance to be able to, on that type of play, be able to get home, even though it wasn't a ball, it was hit more than maybe 130 feet. Swung on and missed. And Helmers gets a couple of strikeouts to get out of this, but not before Holy Cross picks up 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 man left. 1.5 in the books here at John Ryan Stadium. Holy Cross 2, Jesuit 0. You are watching high school baseball from Crescent City Sports. Bottom of the second coming from John Ryan Stadium. Crescent City Sports Prep Baseball presented by Yale College Inn and Rocket Bowl. College Inn, a true New Orleans farm-to-table restaurant, open Tuesday through Saturday for dinner in the home of the New Orleans Prep Sports Hall of Fame. If you got any dinner plans to see, it'd be a great place to go. Check things out, Danny. As we head to the bottom of the second, Zach Casabon steps in, takes a strike, now takes another strike. And if you're a pitcher, the one thing we talk about, you want to do this right now. You just got a couple of runs. Now you want to go out and hang another zero up there.
Yep.
As that misses outside for a ball.
That's it.
It's 1 and 2.
The shutdown inning after you score runs. Get up there, put a zero up, get your hitters right back in the dugout. You're feeling good. You've got momentum, and you want to try to keep that going.
Fouled off by Casabon. 364 in the season for Zach in the cleanup spot. No homers. He's driven in 15.
You know, one of the things you do not want to do is score and then give the runs right back. That's a demoralizing thing. You want to score, put that zero up, and get in the dugout.
Into shallow center field and down for the first Jesuit base hit of the afternoon. Zach Casabon gets the leadoff man aboard for the first time today for the Jays, and they've got a runner with nobody out for the catcher, Parker Serio.
Well, that's one of the keys. I mentioned it earlier, is getting that leadoff man on. Just so important. You just got to have those leadoff guys just fighting as hard as they possibly can to get on base for you. Because when that leadoff man gets on at this level, it does wonders as far as being able to score, possibly score in bunches.
We have timeout called here, I think, for a minute. I don't know what they were. We're going to get a runner, I believe. Yes. Not sure what the situation is there, but we will have a runner at first base. It's Graham DeRoche, who's running down at first base for Casabon. Of course, you can re-enter in high school baseball, so not sure if this is a situation where something's wrong with Casabon or they're just looking to get a better runner down there, realizing they need to at least get one of these runs back right here in the second inning as Serio steps in and takes ball one outside. Parker on the year at .227, no homers, he's driven in 7. That's a strike, it's 1 and 1. Obviously, if you're the Blue Jay brass here right now, you're looking to play this a lot differently, down 2-0 than when it was 0-0 just a few moments ago. But how much, we talked about the wind and playing defense as to how much does that go into how you coach a game, knowing that the wind is blowing like it is as the count is 2 and 2?
Well, I think it goes into obviously positioning of your defense and location of pitches and things that you're looking to do, against each hitter.
So that's fouled out of play.
That's all execution type things that you're striving for. But the biggest thing is just making sure that your defense is, understanding the situation that they have to be very, very aggressive and stay on those fly balls and really do a good job of talking out there. An outfielder can call off any infielder, but until that infielder hears an outfielder distinctly call him off the ball, you've got to stay on it as if you're the only guy on the field.
That was foul, tipped at the plate. Count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. On the ground and in the hole. Nice play by the shortstop to keep it on the infield, but that's all he can do. It's a base hit for Serio.
Well, Jesuit trying to answer right back, and that's a sign of a good club. Your opponent scores, and you answer right back and try to erase those runs, and they're in a good position to do it here with first and second, nobody out.
So now it's Brendan Bergeron running down at first base. The courtesy runner for Serio, and Trip Haddad will step in. Haddad leads this team in RBIs with 21, hitting .322 on the season. He's got a couple of long balls to his credit. takes one a little high for ball one. So it's DeRoche running at second. It is Berggren running at first. Swung on and missed. It's 1-1. Now, the reason I brought up the wind is maybe does that change how you strategize, how you maybe play the game offensively, knowing that some things could get blown around in the wind out here, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for the defense to be able to play a game. Does that perhaps get you more? Do you get more conservative offensively as a result of that, and let the game play itself out?
Yeah, I don't know. I would say that a windy day like this, extreme wind probably would serve a higher scoring, wilder type affair.
Sure.
I mean, that's what my gut would tell me. So, like right now, I don't think you would even think about bunting right here.
Sure.
I think you're playing for 4 or 5 runs.
2-2 misses outside. It's 3-2. So
yeah, usually because you would think at some point in time, with balls in the air, this wind's going to do something to one of them, or maybe more than one of them, and just kind of throw some craziness into the game. So I think you got to be trying to score as many as you can, as quick as you can.
Runner's not going anywhere on the 3-2, and it's fouled out of play.
And both of these teams, to their credit so far, have done a great job of hitting the ball hard on the ground, hard on the line, and keeping it out of the air. I'm sure it's probably something that the coaches talk to them about, is that, hit the ball up in the air today. It's not really going to go anywhere unless you would get it, pull it down the left field line or so.
Another foul ball. This will be the 8th pitch of the at-bat, I believe, coming up to Parker Serio. Saltaformaggio stretches and delivers, and again that is fouled out of play. So Serio has really, or check that, Haddad batting. That Serio was the last batter. Haddad has really made him work here in this at-bat. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat.
That's important early in the game. That's one of the first things you want to do as an offense, is get that opposing pitcher's pitch count as high as you can, as quick as you can. 9-pitch at-bat will do that.
And that's outside, ball 4, and they're loaded. It is DeRoche at third. It is Berggren at second, and Haddad off the walk is now at first with nobody out for the DH for Joel Guerra. Joel on the season at .271. 13 hits, 48 at-bats, no homers. He's driven in 8. First pitch, taking for a strike. It's 0-1. Already 22 pitches here in the second inning for Saltaformaggio after working very quickly through the first inning. That's a ball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, Jesuit's got to make them pay right here. This is set up tremendously for your offense, and you got to get somebody to get some clutch hits.
Lined into right center field and down for a base hit. 1 run is in. Here comes the runner around third to tie this game up at 2. A 2-run single for Joel Guerra. Plates DeRoche and Berggren, and we are tied at 2.
Well, there's your clutch hit. Bases loaded. It's no bigger than that right there to score 2 and tie the game, and that's a sign of a good team that can bounce right back. Gave up 2 in the top of the inning, and you come right back in the bottom. You've already erased that, and you've still got first and third and nobody out. So Jesuit in position to put up a big number. And as I said, on a windy day like this, I think the more you can score, the better you serve yourself as the game goes on.
Chris Favalora, the left fielder, will step in. Favalora in the season, batting just .200, does have a home run and 6 RBIs. He's got runners at the corners with nobody out. Takes that outside a ball. It's 1-0.
Holy Cross with some action in the bullpen already, so they're not waiting around. They're trying to win this ball game, and they're not going to let it get too far away from them.
Down, it's 2-0. Single, walk, single to start the Jesuit second, and they have erased this 2-run deficit and pulled even. Conference over down the third baseline. Talk some offensive strategy right here. first and third, if you're an offensive coach right now, I think that probably leaves the most possibilities of everything that you can do out there. 2-0. Shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a strike. It's 2-1. See if the Jays have the wheels in motion right here. They do not. It's down low for ball 3.
Kenny Goodlett appears to have given a sign right there because he was pointing to his eyes after that pitch, like, hey, pay attention.
Fouled off, and it's full 3 balls and 2 strikes. Two-thirds of the Morrow brothers in the house today. Of course, Dave's the athletic director at Jesuit. His brother Darryl is here. Is that his high for ball 4? Doug's not here today. Doug's been up here before doing public address. He's doing PA this afternoon for NOLA Gold Rugby.
All right.
Doug's adding that to his resume.
I watched some of that the other day. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't know what I was watching.
I tell you,
no idea.
It's entertaining. And look, it's a first-place team right now professionally in New Orleans. It's a lot of fun to watch. Now the pitch count up to 30 in the inning for Salter Formaggio as Eccles, the center fielder, steps in, takes a strike. It's 0-1.
It was interesting. I just didn't know exactly what was going on. I need to read up on rugby a little bit, I guess.
Football gets a lot of its roots from rugby. Eccles, a .227 hitter on the year, no homers, 4 driven in. Line drive to second, and they will double the runner off of second base for a double play. That very easily could have been 3 there for a moment off the bat because the runner at first, Favalora, was a good 25, 30 feet down the line, but he got back in enough time to avoid really what could have been a disastrous situation. That's one of those plays, Danny. You don't know what you're going to get right there on a soft line drive, and a nice play there by Aguilar to get back on that ball and take it in.
Yeah, he did a nice job there, flashing the leather once again at second base for the Tigers, and that's a huge play. That is an absolutely huge, huge play for Holy Cross.
So now the runners at the corners with 2 outs, back around at the top of the order. Valikoski, first pitch swinging, lifts one in the shallow left center field, and the center fielder, Broussard, comes on and makes the play. And just like that, in a span of 2 pitches, it was already a 30-pitch inning, but in 2 pitches, that Salter Formaggio was able to get out of this without any further damage. 2 runs for the Jays on 3 base hits, no errors, and 2 men left. We have played 2 at John Ryan, and it is time to start once again. It is Holy Cross 2 and Jesuit 2 here on Crescent City Sports. On to the third, and a 2-2 ball game as Holy Cross has 3, 4, and 5 coming up here as Salter Formaggio swings and misses at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Crescent City Sports Prep Baseball brought to you by Gills Bar for more than half a century, offering services, solutions, and support for businesses and associations looking for happier constituents and healthier bottom lines, and headquartered on the North Shore. To learn more on how Gills Bar can help your business, visit gillsbar.com. Lenny Van Gilder, Danny Ream with you on a partly cloudy, windy afternoon here right next to the Orleans-Jefferson Parish line. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Salter Formaggio, who struck out his first time up. Takes that one on the outer edge, just missed, and it's 2-2. And a tip of the cap to Nico for wriggling off the hook there. That really could have been a disastrous inning. And now, it's the first cliche today, Danny. He helps his own cause with a base hit up the middle.
Well, you know, it's amazing the good things that can happen when you throw strikes. And, you know, he threw some pitches and allowed his defense to make some good plays for him. And, you know, that inning got away from Jesuit pretty quick. I mean, they were set up in a great position to put 4 or 5 runs up on the board. You know, that's what you were kind of thinking, and you hold them to just those 2, and even, you know, just keep that inning even at 2 runs apiece. And, you know, that was a big change of events from what it looked like was going to happen.
Christian Calamari is the courtesy runner down at first base, and John Dade Wooten steps in, takes one inside a ball. It's 1-0. So this is 3 consecutive innings now that Holy Cross has put the leadoff man on. Helmers was able to work around it in the first, in spite of an error, and not so fortunate in the second. Ended up giving up 2, but here in the third, he's got to deal with it again. He's spending a lot of time pitching out of the stretch. On the ground, could be 2. Second baseman to short for 1. On to first, double play, 4-6-3.
Nice turn, really smooth looking double play turn in the middle of the Blue Jay infield there, and that's a big one. He raced that leadoff man, reaching base.
So just like that, it's 2 out, nobody on, and Helmers gets a chance to throw out of the windup again. And Adrian Aguilar, who is, we've seen get the job done defensively so far today, steps in. He grounded out to second his first time up, takes a breaking ball on the outside corner. It's 0-1. That's a strike, and it's 0-2. And on the outside corner, good morning, good afternoon, good night. Helmers is back in the dugout just like that. It's strikeout number 5 of the afternoon for the Jesuit right-hander, Will Helmers. No runs, a hit, no errors, none left. On to the bottom of the third we go. It is Holy Cross 2 and Jesuit 2 here on Crescent City Sports. On to the bottom of the third here from John Ryan Stadium. Lenny Van Gilder, Danny Ream with you. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors. Holy Cross, 2 runs, 3 hits, 1 error for Jesuit. As the Blue Jays come in to bat here in the bottom of the third inning. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup. Dardar, Helmers, and Kazabon to get things started. For the Jays here in the third, Dardar takes one on the outside corner, a strike. It is 0-1. That ball is lifted in the right field, and that's the wrong direction to hit it in. If you hit that ball on that trajectory to left field, I think that would have had a chance to go. But, of course, you know, left-handed hitter there. He just got out in front of him.
Yep, baseballs are going to die out there today in right field. So that wind just pounding that ball back down.
And Will Helmers, coming off a easiest inning that he has had thus far on the hill, steps in, takes a strike. It's 0-1. Salta Formaggio seemed like, I'm not sitting here tracking pitches, but it seemed like he was getting ahead of hitters that last inning, but just couldn't finish them off. As that is lifted down the right side foul. It's 1 ball or no balls and 2 strikes right now to Helmers. Yeah, I think the key at bat of the inning was that 9-pitch walk to Haddad. If he had been able to close him out, maybe he gets out of the inning without any damage right there. The 0-2. Taken just low for a ball. It's a ball and 2 strikes. A nice crowd has settled in here on a Saturday afternoon. There's a lot going on in New Orleans. Obviously, French Quarter Fest weekend. But I mean, you've got important baseball being played as that is hit in the right field, just out of the reach of a diving Aguilar for a base hit for Will Helmers. when you got important baseball, especially in the Catholic League being played, people will show to see it play. There's no question about it.
And you know, Jesuit Holy Cross, in and of itself, you know, is going to draw a nice crowd. Just so much tradition in both of these schools, and it's a big, you know, big rivalry all the time whenever these two schools meet. So that, along with the fact that you've got a real race, you know, in the league and playoff positioning at stake, you know, makes for people to come out, and that's good. It's good to see the nice crowd because, you know, these players and these coaches work really hard, and, you know, it adds something to the game when you're out there playing and coaching. You look up and you see a nice crowd in the stands.
Casabon takes one just off the plate for a ball. It's 1 ball and no strikes. Zach, his first time up, singled. He was pinch run for it, ended up producing the first run for Jesuit this afternoon. A throw over to first, not in time. Helmer's on the year, has, of course, that's a courtesy runner down there at first base. That's Colin Loop running down there for Helmer's at first. That's taken upstairs. It's a ball. It's 2-0.
Wouldn't be a bad spot here, Lenny, to try to hit and run. Got a strike to give at the plate. Hitters ahead, should get a pitch to handle.
Takes a strike. It's 2-1. Do you let the count get more to a situation like that before you perhaps put the wheels in motion? Let's see. And then again, you know, one thing we saw from Trey Gilliott back in the second inning is he was kind of unconventional with the times that he ran. That is a strike. Throw down is not in time, and Loop steals the bag. We thought maybe he might run on 3-2. He didn't run on 3-2, and then ran on a 1-0 pitch on the next at bat. So that's part of the strategy that you're used to as a coach. You're trying to you know, outfox the fox in the other dugout. 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Casabon. Bounced in there for a ball. It's 3-2. Loop and a nice secondary lead. He had to scramble back to the bag at second. So now you got a runner in scoring position with 1 out here in the third as Jesuit is looking to get its first lead of the afternoon. On the ground to third. Nice job of base running by Loop. He waited, then took off after the throw. So even on the 5-3 put out, he will get to third with 2 outs. And, of course, what are there, about 13 more ways to score from third than second with 2 outs? Is that the last count I had?
Yeah, it's always good when you get to third base and you're just 90 feet away.
So with Loop at third and 2 outs, Parker Sirios steps in. It's ball 1. They're going to work him away right here. It's almost like they don't want to give him anything to hit. Sirios first time up. Infield single deep in the hole. Shortstop knocked it down, kept it on the infield. That's down. It's 3-0. And that's ball 4. It bounced away. Now the runner is heading towards the plate. Wow. The throw home is safe. Just getting the hand in front of the tag is Loop. And he scores the go-ahead run on ball 4.
And a really late break. He could have probably had that very easily delayed down there at third just for that split second before he decided, yeah, I can get there. And that's why it was so close at the plate. A little bit of delay. Most of the time, you know, you want to be looking for that. You need to be expecting it every single pitch, and when you get it, be gone. But, hey, nonetheless, they got that big, important run, and that's the key of being 90 feet away.
Foul ball. Let's see if the wind keeps it in. It did, but unable to bring it in there as the catcher sent him on. It's 0-1. So Haddad, who had that walk that, in my mind, really helped ignite that second inning. Yes, you had 2 men on, but he worked that at bat, 9 pitches, and drew the walk, loaded the bases with nobody out, set the stage for Guerra, delivered the 2-run single after that. And it's 0-2 now to Trip Haddad, who again leads this team with 21 runs batted in. The 0-2. In the air. And again, the wind could possibly bring this back in, and it does. The first baseman in foul territory, Wooten, hauls that one in. On any other day, that is on top of the pavilion out there and out of play, but that stayed in. It was held up by the wind, and that will do it for Jesuit here in the third, but not before the Jays get a run on a hit, no errors, and 1 man left. 3 complete here at John Ryan Stadium. It's Jesuit 3 and Holy Cross 2 on Crescent City Sports. Crescent City Sports Prep Baseball brought to you by Gibbs Construction, a leader in the construction industry in Louisiana and the Gulf Coast for more than 35 years, transforming dreams, visions, and plans into reality. Gibbs Construction. Larry Gibbs has always been a great supporter of anything in the world of amateur sports, and we're glad he is a big supporter of Crescent City Sports and our high school baseball coverage. First pitch swinging is Cade Simpson, ground ball to second, on to first in time, and there's one gone here in the top of the fourth, Danny.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do, get that first guy out. Jesuit just took the lead, so they would love to get a 0 up and try to extend it.
A strike called on the inside corner to Davis Stevens, who had a single, little soft serve shot in the shallow right field. First time up, lifts that one into right center field. This has got some legs. It's going to get down and going to roll into the gap. He's headed for second and will stand with a double. So Davis Stevens is 2 for 2 on the afternoon, and he's gone the other way both times against Helmers. And just like that, the tying run is in scoring position for Holy Cross.
Well, if there's one thing about Holy Cross, they are going to fight to the bitter end, and just being up 3-2 is not nearly enough for Jesuit. So Holy Cross in position to possibly tie with a clutch hit. There's a balk.
And just like that, the tying run is 90 feet away.
Looks like Jesuit's going to play the corners in right here. So something hit hard to the corner. They have that option of going to the plate with it if the runner runs, which we'll see how Trey Gilliott decides to play it. Different ways you can play it here.
No balls and 2 strikes.
Some teams will play contact, where if there's ground ball contact, they're gone. Some will put calls on.
Swing and a miss, and down on strikes goes Chandler Welch. Strikeout number 6 for Helmers. The one thing I like about Helmers, and this is the first chance I've had to see him pitch this year, Danny, he's ready to go. Look, the hitter is not even in. He is already standing on the rubber. He is ready to pitch. He works fast. I know as a coach you like that, as a pitcher you like that. As Sanama on the first pitch rips one through the hole in the left field for a base hit, and just like that, we are tied at 3.
He got a fastball on the inner third, turned on it. Hard ground ball in the left. And got that first pitch fastball. Sometimes that's the best pitch you're going to get against a guy that's good at what he does, and Helmers is pretty good at what he does. So we've seen it during the game today that when Holy Cross gets fastballs early in the count, they are swinging the bat.
So that's 6 hits for Holy Cross, and that's at least 3 times they've gotten hits on the first pitch here this afternoon. It is Max Lasciardi who will be the courtesy runner down at first base. So Lasciardi running for Sandoval down at first. Back to the top of the order for Gavin Schultz, who is 1 for 1 with an infield single to third and a pop-up in the shallow right field that the second baseman Dardar made a terrific play on, but it turned into a sacrifice fly because Stevens was standing on third base at that point with one out, and very heads up, tagged on the play, and came across with the second run of the afternoon for the Tigers. And a pickoff at first base will erase the courtesy runner, and that will do it for Holy Cross here in this fourth inning, but not before the Tigers get the tying run on 2 base hits, no errors, and no one left on base. Halfway through this one from John Ryan Stadium, right at the Orleans-Jefferson Parish line. It is Holy Cross 3 and Jesuit 3 on Crescent City Sports. Bottom of the fourth. Fourth coming here from John Ryan Stadium. Lenny Van Gilder, Danny Ream with you. And we'll have a new pitcher for Holy Cross. We see Aiden Pacheco taking over on the mound as Nico Saltaformaggio will move back to his usual third base. So Pacheco taking over here. Pacheco on the season has worked exclusively in relief. It's his 9th appearance. He's 1-1, a .438 earned run average. 8 innings of work, just 3 hits allowed, 5 runs all earned. He's walked 4. He's fanned 9. And the first batter he will face here is Joel Guerra. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. So Saltaformaggio goes 3 innings, gives up 4 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He walked 3. He did not strike out anyone. But he's kept his team in the game. Yeah, he gave up 3 runs, but his offense has helped him out a little bit. Ground ball to third, over to first. Will take care of the first out of the inning. And I would imagine there are some pastors and some priests that are a little upset right now with the news coming out of Augusta, Georgia. Because of weather conditions that they're forecasting for tomorrow, they are now going to go off both the first and the 10th tees at the Masters, beginning at 6:30 a.m. New Orleans time. The leaders will tee off at 8:20 a.m., and CBS is going to come on the air at 8 a.m. tomorrow. As it's 2 balls and no strikes to Chris Favalora. The early mass, the early service, and make it back to catch the leaders on the back nine.
You take that weekly bulletin and you fold it just right. You can just peek a little bit underneath it.
There you go.
Might be all right.
There you go. So Favalora draws the walk. It's a runner at first and 1 out for the 9-hole hitter, Luke Eccles, who came up with the bases loaded and nobody out in the bottom of the second. Hit a soft line drive into shallow right field that the second baseman made a terrific play on, turned it into a 4-6 double play. That is a ground ball in the left field for a base hit, and just like that, through the 8 and the 9 holes, Jesuit has runners at first and second and 1 out and flips over the lineup.
Yeah, big-time performances at the bottom of the order right there for Jesuit. And here come the Jays right now, first and second, just 1 out.
Pitches outside to Valagoski, who is 0 for 2 on the afternoon against Saltaformaggio. Grounded out, flied out, now getting his first look at Aiden Pacheco.
That's where you need a guy to hit a double.
The 1-0. Fouled that one back over the grandstand, and it's 1-1. The 1-1. Lifted in the air. I think the wind will take this one out of play. We saw the one earlier. The wind blew it back into foul territory and kept it in play. That might have been a ball on an ordinary day that would have been somewhere in the bullpen, and the wind just carried that one out of play, and it's 1-2. Valigoski, two lefties at the top of this Jesuit lineup. That one back in our direction, and the count holds at 1-2. I guess with this one, Danny, we have come full circle with our coverage of high school sports over the last 7 years. The first game that we broadcast 7 years ago was the very first game in this ballpark between these two very schools, and Holy Cross was not yet back in the Catholic League at that point. His head is swung on and missed for strike 3, and the first strikeout for both Pacheco and for Holy Cross pitching this afternoon, and there's 2 gone.
That's a big strikeout. You get yourself to 2 outs right here. You got forces all over the infield. So that's a big out right there to get the 2 outs. Jesuit really needs a clutch hit.
And Seth Dardar will be the batter. Outside for a ball, it's 1-0, but I'd have to go back and count the exact number, but I would venture to guess over the course of now 7+ years since we did that game back 7 years ago last month, we're probably closing in on maybe 300 live streams and telecasts total that we've done in that time. I think this is number 35 of the year. Chip Merritt keeps track of those things for us. I believe that's the case, and we'll have some more here before the year is over. Stay with us at Crescent City Sports.
I think that calls for some kind of celebration, huh?
Go back and figure out the exact number. Swung on and missed. That was seriously off speed. That might not have gotten a ticket on the interstate, Danny.
We need a lunch on Trahan or something, huh? For all these games. A little celebratory lunch.
Could be. A ball and 2 strikes off the end of the bat. It pulled. First baseman couldn't handle it initially. Throw is in time back at first base. I think that went 3-4-3 to record the out, or maybe it was 3-4-1 and the pitcher got in front of the first baseman. A crazy looking play, though, to end the 4th inning. As you take another look before we head out for the inning, Danny, is that just had a little English on it, and the first baseman couldn't handle it.
Yeah, off the first baseman. Second baseman Aguilar there. And, yeah, the first baseman got back to the bag. So
3-4-3 if you're scoring along with this to end the inning. The Jays get no runs on 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. They have stranded 5. We've got 4 complete here from John Ryan Stadium. Holy Cross 3, Jesuit 3 here on Crescent City Sports. The top of the 5th inning here at John Ryan Stadium. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors. Holy Cross, 3 runs, 5 hits, 1 error for Jesuit as we start to get a little late here, Danny, and it's the top of the order for Holy Cross. Gavin Schultz was at the plate in the 4th inning when the courtesy runner Lashardi was picked off by Helmers to end the inning. And he is behind an account, no balls and 2 strikes. Swung on and missed. Helmers now has 7 strikeouts in 4 1/3 innings on the afternoon, and there's 1 gone.
Well, Helmers put a little something extra on that fastball right there. Blew it by him. That big first out.
Brian Broussard, the center fielder, steps in. He has been a strikeout victim twice this afternoon against Helmers.
You're always talking to pitchers about throwing strike 1. Well, talking to your defense as a whole is let's get out number 1 before they get somebody on base. Really limits what a team can do offensively if you can get that first out.
Saw some action down in the Holy Cross bullpen a moment ago. We mentioned as that misses for ball 1. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. We mentioned Pacheco on the year, 8 appearances, but only 8 innings of work. So you wonder if maybe he was just a 1-inning guy, and they're going to try and kind of piece this together to the finish as it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Broussard.
Well, they've been playing a lot of games. They played Brother Martin yesterday. And
it had to make up. That was a rain out from last week, and it got sandwiched in between these two. And you gotta play him at the first opportunity you can. 1 and 2 swung on and missed, and that is now strikeout number 8 for Helmers, and there's 2 down.
And Helmers is feeling good here in the 5th inning. Looking good, feeling good, got his pitches working. A little something extra on the fastball, breaking balls falling off the table. So yeah, Holy Cross has got their hands full.
Right. He has done a really good job against the top 5 hitters in the lineup as it's 0-1. He's the top 5 hitters, I should say, are 2 for 11, 1 through 5. But it's 6 through 9 that has done some damage. That is 4 for 7 with a hit batter. So that's not something you normally see as it's 0-2, and he continues to work quickly, and now it's a ball and 2 strikes.
And that obviously speaks to the quality of the the Holy Cross lineup.
Swung on and missed, and it kicks away from the catcher, and that's going to be strikeout number 3 in the inning, but Holy Cross is still in this inning as Salter Formaggio will reach on the wild pitch. Strikeout number 9 now for Helmers, so now he's got the opportunity, Dane, to do something you don't do very often and perhaps get 4 strikeouts in an inning.
That would be something. That would be a story for years down the road.
He can tell his grandkids about, but
Absolutely.
It won't happen as Wooten puts the first pitch in play, ground ball to second, on to first in time. So 3 strikeouts in the inning for Helmers, but it's not a 3-up, 3-down inning as 1 man is left after the wild pitch. So 4.5 in the books here at John Ryan Stadium. It is Holy Cross 3 and Jesuit 3 here on Crescent City Sports. But there's some in there. I can go back and look at my notes because there's some that are not in there. They're not all on that channel because we didn't use shit all the time. It's 207 on YouTube the other night because of the trade. Fans stretching here in the middle of the 5th to the organ music of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. They do things right here at John Ryan Stadium. They know the traditions and certain things you don't mess with.
The music selection is always top notch.
Always
all
top.
Those good ballpark songs.
No doubt, as Will Helmers swinging at the 0-1 pitch, rips one foul. And it's no balls and 2 strikes. Helmers on the afternoon is 1 for 2. He's popped up, singled. His courtesy runner Loop came in to score. What was the go-ahead run at that point briefly gave Jesuit a 3-2 lead. Holy Cross answered with a run at the top of the 4th to tie this game up, which is where we stand as we play here in the bottom of the 5th. The 0-2. On the ground, 2 hops, third baseman. Throw across the diamond is high and safe. Helmers got in under the tag.
Hustling down the line there. And Trey Gilliard's going to see if the base umpire will ask for help from Shane Rigdon at the plate. See if we can see it again. I don't.
Hard to tell. It's bang, bang right there. It will be the first error of the afternoon for Holy Cross. Each team now with one miscue. Holy Cross as an edge in the hit column, 6-5. Otherwise, everything on the scoreboard is the same, 3-3 in the run column. And Zach Casabon will step in. 1 for 2 in the afternoon. He singled, scored, grounded out the third. Showing bunt, fouling it back. It's 0-1. I guess now that you get down to this situation, it's like, remember the 5th in high school baseball. It's kind of like the 7th if you don't watch a lot of high school baseball. This is a time you want to try and get that go-ahead run in a tie game in the scoring position. Give yourself 2 chances to drive in the potential go-ahead run here. Won't show at that time. Keeps the bat on his shoulder. It's 1-1.
Well, from Jesuit's side of things, you're only, if you can get a run, you're 6 outs away, and Helmers is feeling pretty good and looking good. So
he's dealing. And the other thing is, if you can get one down the third base line, you got to wonder how, the third baseman Welch, or now check that. That's now Salter Formaggio down at third base, but still how he's going to react after just committing an error on that last play. If you can make him make another play right there. 2 balls and a strike to Casabon. Outside ball 3, snap throw to first. The catcher sent him off from his knees, but nothing doing, and it's 3-1. Pitch. Just missed outside, ball 4. So that is walk number 2 for Pacheco, and the 5th walk now for Holy Cross pitching, and that is the kind of thing, especially on a day like this, you do not want to give up free base runners. First and second, nobody out, and Parker Sirio will stand in. Crashing in at the corners are the Holy Cross infielders. That ball was bunted, but popped up and a little English on it. Backspin, made it roll foul. It's 0-1. Parker's been on base twice this afternoon. An infield single to shortstop. His courtesy runner came around to score. He walked back in the 3rd inning. Stretch. Sirio showing bunt from jump here, the 0-1. And that was an inside pitch, and he just really couldn't get squared up on that one, Danny, and that was headed.
He needed to pull back. That pitch might have hit him.
Exactly. It was headed right at him, but he bunted it foul, and now it's 0-2.
Well, we'll see what Kenny Goodlett decides to do, but usually if it's a sack situation, I bunt all 3.
Keeps the bat on his shoulder, and it's 1-2 on the pitch outside. One-two. That hit him. And now they're loaded with nobody out.
Breaking ball got away from him. Hit him right on that front shoulder. So Jesuit, right where they wanted to be. They were trying to get those lead runners over to second and third. Well, you got that, and you got them loaded.
Oh. Conference between Goodlett and Trip Haddad, who will step in from the right side. 0 for 1 on the afternoon. Had that great walk in the 2nd inning and then fouled out to the first baseman. That wind-blown pop-up that on any other day would have been a foul ball, but it blew back in.
Haddad's got to be ready right here. Great spot to hit.
And remember, he leads this team in RBIs with 21. Good break down the line that time by Luke, but Haddad pulled it foul. It's 1-1. ball and a strike, bases loaded, nobody out here in the Jesuit fifth. That pitch missed inside a ball. It's 2-1. Stretch and the 2-1. Back to the screen. Here comes the go-ahead run, and Jesuit will take a 4-3 lead. Second time today, Loop has come across on a wild pitch.
Well, you can feel the momentum in the ballpark shifting Jesuit's way, and really going back to the way Helmers looked in the top of the fifth. I think he really kind of lit a little bit of a fire with the inning that he had on the mound for Jesuit at the top of the inning, and here they come.
3-1 on the ground, second baseman playing in. He's going to come home. The tag gets away from the catcher, not in time anyway. Now the runner's going to head towards second base, and once again there's going to be runners at second and third. It's a 5-3 ball game.
Pretty nice play by Aguilar, made a nice throw. Catcher just couldn't hold on to it.
Yeah. I'm not sure there's going to be an out at the plate anyway, and then when the ball kicks away, that's got to be an error, probably on the catcher because the ball got away from his glove. It'll be a fielder's choice and an RBI, and an error is going to allow the runner to get to second base. It's going to be an E2. So the second error of the inning here for Holy Cross, and Jesuit has 2 runs on the board, Danny, and runners at second and third with nobody out, and the ball has not left the infield yet.
Yep, it happens that way sometimes, but hey, you take them any way they want to come.
And now you got to bring things just about in all the way around.
Absolutely.
In this situation with Guerra at the plate, and he takes up high for ball 1.
But the way Helmers is throwing right now for Jesuit, Holy Cross cannot afford to give up any more. Already down 2.
1-0, lifted down the left field line, but he was just out in front of that one a little bit, and it's a foul ball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. The importance of this game, once again, Jesuit up 1 in the loss column on Brother Martin, 2 on a whole confluence of teams in the middle of the pack here in a very tight District 9 5A race. Jesuit still controls its destiny, even with that loss 2 days ago to Holy Cross. And 3 games left. You win them all, you know you're the outright district champions no matter what, as that is a swing and a miss. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Rummel has swept St. Aug, beat St. Aug 9-4 today. So St. Aug, which was a very hot team going into that series with Rummel, got swept by the Raiders.
Now with 5 losses, there were 3 teams sitting there at 4 losses in the middle of the pack when this day started, and that was Holy Cross, St. Aug, and John Curtis were all sitting there at 5-4 when this day began. That is outside for ball 4, and the bases are once again loaded as the 3rd walk of the afternoon. And here comes Trey Gilliard, and you have to wonder if this might be it. Although no one is warming up in the bullpen, perhaps he's bringing someone in from the field to step in, and we will see a pitching change here. Gives us a chance here. Why don't we go ahead and revisit those standings for you? And again, just take a look at what is at stake here as we head down the stretch. You mentioned, now this was going into today, so that does not take into account Rummel's victory over St. Aug this afternoon, which would move Rummel to 4-6, drop St. Aug to 5-4. Brother Martin has the bye in this current round, if you will, of the district schedule. They're going to play St. Aug next week in a 2-game series. Tuesday night over at RBI Field, right across the street from where UNO and Tulane will be playing in Game 2 of the Pelican Cup. And then Thursday afternoon they will meet at Kirsch-Rooney Stadium. And at the same time, Tuesday night and Thursday afternoon, it will be Jesuit and Rummel, the Tuesday night game at Kirsch-Rooney. And then Thursday afternoon, right here at John Ryan. And depending on how things play out, you're talking about the chance to win an outright title. Jesuit may need to win, hold on here, and then win both of those games, especially with Brother Martin, who's playing very well right now, continues to hold serve, so to speak.
Yeah, John Curtis beat Shaw 4-2.
So they now go to 6-4 in the year. So at least for the moment, they move up into third place in the standings. Shaw is now done. They've got the last bye. They're going to play some non-district games the final week, but just gives you an idea of where things stack up. So if Jesuit with a 2-run lead here and a chance certainly to add on here in the bottom of the 5th, if this can hold on, they would take a full game lead over Brother Martin, a 2-game lead over John Curtis, and a 3-game lead over Holy Cross at St. Aug, which would eliminate Holy Cross at St. Aug from the race at that point. But still, those other 3 would all be in play. We do have a new Holy Cross pitcher. That is Wooten, who is moving over from first base now, making just his 3rd appearance of the year. No record, no ERA. 2 innings, 1 hit, 1 run. It was unearned, walked 1, and struck out 1. So
Brother Martin stepped out of league play, as you mentioned today. They defeated St. Charles Catholic at St. Charles 10-9.
that's a ballpark that could play very small, and I'm sure the wind played a factor there as Favalora steps in, takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Chandler Wells back at third base.
That is back to the screen, and that will plate another run. It is a 6-3 game.
Well, this inning has just gotten away from Holy Cross, and Jesuit's making them pay, as you said. You know, they haven't really done a whole lot, but they got something working. So
now we've seen 2 walks, a hit batter, a ground ball to the third baseman that was thrown away for an error, and a ground ball to the second baseman. They made a throw to the plate late, and then it got away for a second error. So 2 ground balls, 2 walks, a hit batter, and 2 errors. That's what's accounted for the 3 runs here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Nothing has left the infield. That is back to the screen. Runner coming home. Play at the plate is late, and it is now 7-3, and the runner is at third base. Guerra has moved all the way up as Haddad scoring the 7th run. That was Bergeron that scored the run on the previous wild pitch. Upstairs, it's 2 balls and 2 strikes now. Perhaps that is 3-2. I'm not sure. It is 3-2. Yeah, 2 wild pitches there, and that went up high, so that was 3 balls. And the 3-2 is down low for ball 4. 7 walks in this game now for Holy Cross, 3 here in the inning. And the 7th man to bat in the inning will be Luke Eccles.
Center fielder Luke Eccles.
No, if you're Jesuit, you want to just keep scoring. You never have enough, not in this league. These teams fight too hard. There's too much pride in these games. Teams are not going to quit, so you've got something like this going, ride it out, get as many as you can get.
Eccles shows bunt, pushes it down the first baseline, and it will roll foul.
Kenny Goodlett trying to squeeze there to get to that 5-run lead, so even a grand slam couldn't tie the game. Whenever you have a 4-run lead, you're trying to get to 5, and that's the reason that they would be trying to squeeze a run in right there.
The 0-1. Outside corner, a strike. It's 0-2. Up high, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. As you get in this point of the season, what are you really trying to do besides, because you've got enough time, I guess, to get your pitching lined up any way you want, because you're not going to play until the weekend, as the count is now 2-2. What are you looking to do in the last 7-8 days of this regular season right here to really try to fine-tune things as you head into the playoffs?
Well, you're trying to build momentum, obviously, and what I mean by that is getting guys to feel good about what they're doing, their approach at the plate, get some guys seeing beach balls, so to speak.
Lifted in the air to center field. The runner will tag at third. Throw home will be not in time. Runner now tagging and heading to second will get in there. Good base running there by the Blue Jays. And finally, Danny, a ball hit to the outfield. It was a fly ball to center field. The first ball of the inning hit to the outfield, and 5 runs have scored here in the bottom of the 5th.
It's really good situational hitting there. Man on third, less than 2 outs. Get the ball to the outfield, score. That important run that gives you the 5-run lead that we just talked about. So good job of hitting there. But, you know, going back to what you're trying to do right now is just get guys feeling good, make sure guys are healthy. You know, if a pitcher's, you know, not feeling on top of his game, maybe skip a start or limit to a pitch count. So you don't want any injuries heading into the playoffs.
As Valigoski lifts one into shallow left center field, center fielder comes on and makes the play. It is now 2 outs here in the 5th, and the 9th man of the inning to bat will be the second baseman, Seth Dardar.
Yeah, you want to have guys really, you know, should always be doing this, but really buying into the role, because at this point in the season, you know who you are as a team and a player. So really get guys to say, hey, now it's time to turn it on and give myself, you know, to the team, do whatever I've got to do to try to win a championship, because this is the exciting part of the year, you know, when there's championships on the line, and that's really what it's all about.
Swing and a miss by Dardar. It is no balls and a strike. And Danny, you look at this Jesuit lineup. They're set to not only they've got a chance to close out an outright district championship next week, but they've got just about everybody in this starting lineup back next year. So this is a team that's, you know, in a position here to stop the recent run by John Curtis of district titles, but
maybe
possibly start their own run of titles. 1 ball and 2 strikes is the count to Dardar, who's looking for his first hit of the afternoon. You know, it's interesting. The top of the Jesuit lineup really hasn't gotten much done here today. Swung on and missed as Dardar is down on strikes. First strikeout of the afternoon for Wooten. The inning is over, but not before the Blue Jays come up with 5 runs. And they did it without benefit of a base hit. No hits in the inning. There were 3 walks, a hit batter, and a couple of errors. And they stranded 1. We head to the 6th. Jesuit now in command. It is an 8-3 lead for the Blue Jays over Holy Cross here on Crescent City Sports. On to the 6th we go as the crowd getting their spelling lesson for the afternoon here at John Ryan Stadium. 5, 6, and 7 for Holy Cross to face Will Helmers, who has a real lead to work with for the first time today. He got that 1-run lead in the bottom of the 4th. Holy Cross quickly got the run back to tie the game. Now you've got that big lead and 6 outs to get, and you're a pitcher in this situation, especially with the mentality of Helmers. You got to just go out there and mow him down right now. Lifted in the air, shallow right field. Right fielder was coming on, but the first baseman, how about that play by Valigoski?
Valigoski with a great play, right?
To make the play, and there's 1 gone.
Yeah, really nice job of, like we said, getting out there and battling the elements today. Good to see all 3 guys there staying on the ball. I mean, they were all going to make the play.
So Simpson will step in here with 1 out, batting from the left side. Takes one on the outside corner, it's 0-1. Cade this afternoon officially 0 for 1. He was hit by a pitch in the 2nd, came around to score the first Holy Cross run, grounded out in the 4th. And this outside, it's a ball and a strike. Holy Cross has out-hit Jesuit this afternoon 6-5, but the important column next to it, Jesuit has an 8-3 lead. Orleans area under and wind advisory. Not a surprise. We're feeling it out here right now. Potential gusts 40 plus into the evening. Going to beat the bad weather here. The 3-2 is up high for ball 4, and that is the first walk of the afternoon for Will Helmers.
Well, that's what you really want to stay away from. Obviously, only the first one of the day, so nothing to worry about too much. But with that big lead like you got, pound that zone, pitch to contact, make them earn whatever they get.
Fouled back to the screen by Davis Stevens, who has been the tough guy for Helmers to retire. And really, we're hitting that part of the lineup that Helmers has struggled with. He's done a great job against 1 through 5 in the lineup. It's 6 through 9 that has done the damage this afternoon for Holy Cross. A swing and a miss there, and it's 0-2. Stevens is 2 for 2 with a single and a double, both times going the other way against Helmers. Outside, just missed. Check that, it's strike 3. Delayed call by Shane Rigdon, and it's strikeout number 9 and 2 gone here in the 6th. Thought the pitch missed away, but Rigdon ringing him up late, and there's 2 down here in the 6th for Chandler Welch.
Third baseman Chandler Welch.
Welch left the game, then re-entered. He is 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Or check that, 1 for 2. He singled in a run back in the 2nd, swung on and missed there. Welch is the number 1 pitcher on this Holy Cross staff. The 1-1 just missed outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. Welch as a pitcher this season is 4-1 with a 1.81 ERA and 46 1/3 innings of work. The 2-1 swung on and missed. It's 2-2. If Welch can reach, Luke Sandomal would be next. Stretching, firing, and missing high. It's 3-2.
Need to go right at him right here.
The payoff. That's down low for ball 4. So after not walking a hitter through the first 5 1/3 innings, Helmers has walked 2 here in the 6th. I know he was in the dugout for a while there in that last inning. But still, it's the type of situation you want to go out, especially being given that big cushion to work with, and just go out there and throw strikes. Anything, just make them put the ball in play.
That's it.
Sandomal swings at the first pitch and sends it right back to the screen. It's 0-1. Luke on the afternoon is 1 out of 2. He's driven in a run. Had an RBI single to tie the game back in the 4th. Also struck out in the 2nd. The pitch. Breaking ball low. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1. Just misses high, and it's 2-1.
Just needs to refocus and try to shut this thing down right here.
The stretch. And the 2-1. On the ground. Should be routine. Second baseman over to first in time, and that'll do it here in the top of the 6th. So Helmers pitches around a couple of walks. No runs, no hits, no errors. 2 left. Holy Cross is now stranded 6 on the afternoon. We head to the bottom of the 6th. It is Jesuit 8 and Holy Cross 3 here at Crescent City Sports. We head on to the bottom of the 6th inning, and we'll get a new Holy Cross pitcher. Brian Broussard will move in from center field to take over on the mound. Broussard making his 8th appearance of the year, all in relief. 0-1, 2 saves on the year, a 3.71 ERA, 5 2/3 innings of work, 8 hits, 3 runs, all earned. He's walked 7, he struck out 6. So lots of base runners, but has managed to work his way around it. And Will Helmers, who got things started in the bottom of the 5th by reaching on an error, leads things off here in the bottom of the 6th. That is lifted down the right side. First baseman will make the play. That's Wooten back at first base now, I believe it is. Chet Welch has remained in the game at third base. Perhaps that's, and when you get these, they start moving guys around in these situations, making defensive changes. So Casabon will step in here. Zach on the afternoon is 1 out of 2. Single walk, ground out to third, behind an account 0-2. So with what you've seen in the Catholic League this year, Danny has swung on and missed for strike 3, and that is strikeout number 1 for Broussard, and 2 gone here in the 6th. Who in your mind is best positioned to perhaps win a state championship in your mind?
Well, I think Jesuit obviously has a shot to make a run this year. They got a pretty solid club all the way around. As we're seeing here today, Brother Martin's getting really hot at the right time, and sometimes that's what it's all about, is playing your best baseball at the right time, and Jeff Lupo's got that team playing well. So they're definitely a team to watch. St. Paul's is a nice club. Catholic will always be, well coached and have some players, but I think this is the year for maybe a Jesuit or a Brother Martin to make that run to a state title.
Jays go 3 up, 3 down in the 6th. We'll continue that discussion on the other side as we head to the 7th. Last chance for Holy Cross, trailing this one 8-3 on Crescent City Sports. Looks like a couple of defensive changes here for Jesuits. We head to the 7th. John Carbo taking over at first base. Colin Loop over at third base. I believe I heard one other in there, perhaps a new right fielder as well. So Kenny Goodley getting a chance to get some guys in defensively here for the 7th inning in an 8-3 ball game. Top of the order for Holy Cross, Gavin Schultz steps in, takes one down low for a ball. Schultz on the afternoon officially 1 out of 2. He's an infield single, a sacrifice fly with air quotes. It was a pop-up into shallow right field that the second baseman made a play on, and then a strikeout in the 5th. 2 balls and no strikes to Schultz. And a strike, and it's 2-1. Holy Cross has not had a hit since Sanama's RBI single with 2 out in the 4th inning. Helmers has walked 2, he has struck out 10. Upstairs, and it's 3-2. So again, as you look ahead to the final week, it's going to be strike 3 call, and that is strikeout number 11 on the afternoon for Helmers, and there's one down here in the top of the 7th. But barring the unforeseen here, you're going to be looking at a 2-loss Jesuit team and a 3-loss Brother Martin team. The 2 most likely candidates at this point. You got a couple, John Curtis sitting there at 4 losses that if things fell apart could come in and pick up some of the pieces and at least get a share of a title. But Jesuit has Rummel Tuesday and Thursday. Brother Martin has St. Aug Tuesday and Thursday. And that's what's ultimately going to decide this title at this point. And we mentioned both of you want to obviously keep the momentum going in, and they would seem like the 2 best candidates, as that swung on in this 1 and 2, to come out of this league and possibly win a state championship. Although we talk about it, you are the champion until you're not the champion anymore, and I guess we can't put aside the fact that even though there's been a lot of turnover in the last year in terms of the lineup at John Curtis, there's a lot of kids in there who have still been part of back-to-back state championship teams, and you can't discount them when they get into the postseason because everyone is there.
Well, and they've probably got the best pitcher in the league still in Dax Ford, Louisiana Lafayette signee. I mean, he's really good. So you don't want to run into Curtis in one of those series because it's going to be really hard to win the game that Ford pitches. And then you got to go from there. So yeah, I mean you can't count them out at all.
Especially, like you say, a guy in at least a best of 3 in those first couple of rounds can put you out to a 1-0 lead in most cases. Then you've got to come back and you've got no margin for error.
Your back's against the wall, right? And you've got to win 2 in a row.
It's upstairs and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
I'm just glad that these teams get to play series now because the way it used to be with single elimination, that was just so tough.
It is.
In this game. You'd have a superstar arm on the mound. The game would take an hour and 35, hour and 40 minutes, and somebody's season would be over in one day with one phenom arm on the mound. So it's good that you got to really have a pitching staff now and be able to win a series to move on.
And the last chance for the Tigers to keep this one going is Nico Saltaformaggio, who is struck out twice but reached the last time on a wild pitch. He also has a single in the center, so he's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. He's ahead in the count here, 2 balls and no strikes. It's 2-1. I don't know if this must be real time here with updates. Have to wonder if Evangel lost earlier today because now Jesuit has jumped Evangel into 4th in the power ratings without taking this game into account, which now belongs to the Blue Jays after that sliding catch by the right fielder to end it, and Jesuit wins it by the final of 8-3. So I guess it's safe to say that coming out of today, Jesuit is going to be in that top 4 slot in at least going into the final week of the regular season, which could put them in a position to get that first round bye along with perhaps Brother Martin. But of course, as we talk about, the big thing in play is the chance to win an outright Catholic League title, and they're in position to do that now heading into the final week.
Yeah, if you're Jesuit, I think you're looking at, hey, let's come out against Rummel in the first game, take care of business, and, St. Aug's good enough to upset Brother Martin. So, you never know what's going to happen there. If St. Aug wins one of those 2 against Brother Martin, then you're in pretty good shape. But, the main thing is let's come out and take care of business in that first game with Rummel. So no matter what, we know we at least have clinched a share of the Catholic League Championship.
No doubt about it. Dave, this has been a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we're getting down to the fun time of year when it comes to baseball, and everything matters, if you will, in these final week of the regular season and then on to the playoffs. And of course, there's no better place to be than right here at Crescent City Sports. We will have full coverage as we head down the stretch.
Yep, absolutely. It's the good time of the year. Teams playing for championships, trying to make lasting memories that these young men and these coaches will be able to talk about for a long time to come. It's always fun when you get in these spots and you're in a position to do something special.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. Danny, thanks for being here and your insight. Our thanks to Chip and Matt Merritt. Stay with us at CrescentCitySports.com, where we will have all the updates on what you need to know and let you know about our next coverage coming your way. Once again, your final score this afternoon, Jesuit a winner over Holy Cross 8-3 as they maintain first place in District 9 5A. For all of them, I'm Lenny Van Gilder. Until next time, so long, everybody.